You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's WWE Monday Night Raw After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's WWE Monday Night Raw After Show.
Pandemonium is running wild inside the WWE squared circle as we see the elimination of Darren Young. There goes Justin Gabriel before that. Jinder down. We got all these men in the ring because that means it's time for the Royal Rumble season. Birdie, ladies, gentlemen, boys, and men. The go-home of Raw in 1 week till the Rumble. Our crew went ice skating and I took a tumble. Hobbling and crippled, my ankle got swollen. As I thought to myself, we should have gone bowling. This is AfterBuzz TV and it's brought to you by Bing. Bing is for doing and we're doing our thing. Monday Night Raw, review and a recap. Like the champ, I'm on crutches, but it's not for my kneecap. Best in the world at buzzing about the show. Now it's time for my co-host intros. A tag team of broadcast brilliance. Without them, there's no show. Ryan the Colonel Clum, go ahead and say hello.
Hello.
He's the super fan with a plan who's loved wrestling long time. When White's not on Rice, Josh Padgett knows it's showtime. Woo! And to the couch, the social lounge, where we man the Twitter action. I talk the talk, but she brings visual satisfaction. The stampede that you need. Hold your horses. Whoa, Nelly. Let's have a round of applause for Cathy Kelley.
Hey.
That's the crew in the panel, but Monday Night Raw is the star. We're buzzing after Raw. Welcome to the bar. Ladies and gentlemen, the week of January 21st, and it's the road to WrestleMania, and more importantly, the go-home edition before the Royal Rumble, coming up this Sunday.
Yeah, one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year.
From Phoenix, Arizona.
Say number 3, probably?
I'd say it's
a 3.
It's probably moved up even at that point, because normally you would say WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and Rumble.
And I'd say Rumble's more important than Survivor Series at this point.
doesn't really carry importance anymore. SummerSlam's marquee, but still, I think when it comes to what people and fans want to see, I think it goes Mania and then the Rumble.
Yeah, and I'd say this is #1 for like the special attraction type pay-per-views that has like a special type of match.
Always one of the best. Always something that gets you going. Even if it's bad on paper, Royal Rumbles are always good, man. Always. It's the pay-per-view of the year that you can depend on. You always want Mania to be incredible, but you could have some winners and some losers. But the Rumble just stays solid all the way through. It's just the structure of the 30-man over-the-top battle royal.
You can tell different types of stories and weave them in and out, and it's almost like an epic movie, you know, a big long movie with multiple stories interweaving in and out. It's a unique match.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see how storylines are going to play out this year as we set up WrestleMania, because all the leaked matches for what this WrestleMania card is supposed to be at this point doesn't seem too strong in my book right now.
I would say lackluster is the word I would think about. So far, I mean it
the
could
rumors,
completely turn around.
It could. The rumors have Rock versus Cena for the championship again.
Rematch of last year, yeah.
Sheamus and Del Rio for a championship on SmackDown brand. They're talking. And
I heard at one point Orton might be up there possibly for the world title. They might be doing a heel turn with him.
They mentioned CM Punk versus The Undertaker. Kind of comes out of nowhere.
And not only works for me if he's champ.
Yes, it has to be streak versus
It has to be streak for streak if that's going to work.
Otherwise, you just have your two top guys just thrown into a random match. It doesn't make any sense. Oh, and then Triple H versus Brock Lesnar. 2 matches, Rock and Cena 2, and Triple H Brock Lesnar 2. 2 matches no one has asked for.
Yeah, I'd rather see Rock and Brock. I talked about that. I think that's a marquee money-making match that brings mainstream fans in, and that's what Vince loves for WrestleMania.
Yep. Right.
I think you'd see skyrocketing huge buys if that was the case. But we'll see. Hopefully some storyline swerves happen and we get a little shakeup. The other thing
I hope it's not what we hear. I hope there's something out of the blue.
Could be, but the other point that I've noticed and that I think is a trend. Anytime the card is piss poor on paper, it's usually an amazingly good event.
That is true.
The guys usually step it up. Anytime, I'd say like 90% of the time when you look at it on paper and it's like, ooh, this one's not so good, they usually turn out to be like the best pay-per-views of the year.
You never know. You see that a lot in actually the UFC as well. It's like the marquee matches end up being disappointing, and then they're not so great on paper cards end up being like the best.
Man, we're already talking for a few minutes, and my eyes are just glued to that plate of cookies over there that Cathy brought. Cathy, what'd you bring us today?
They're Nutella cookies.
But I guess we no longer have Couch Boy. We now have Couch Cupcake.
I've been trying to take over the reins of chat roll, and I can see why Raven just interrupts all the time because it's hard to multitask.
I thought you were going to say you were trying to take over the show, and I was like, that's why I had to kick you out of my spot because you were getting too close to the captain's mic right here.
Playing footsies under the table, distracting you.
Getting them all sweaty.
She's scandalous, that Cathy Kelley. Scandalous. Well, let's get on to this show and this episode and the action that we witnessed. And it started off with Vicky Guerrero with Paul Heyman arm in arm heading down to the ring. And it was said that this was done as a sign of solidarity.
The first of many in-ring
lots of promos
tonight. A lot of it.
And Heyman essentially said that, last week Vicky and him, Vicky and he were defamed, and The Rock was going after him.
And they always do the right thing.
Yeah, and he
as well.
Yeah, they do. And Paul Heyman called Vicky Guerrero the sexiest GM ever.
She's not GM though.
Well,
I know they did,
the managing
and someone else did. I know, but they did call her GM several times tonight. I forget. Someone else called her the GM later on.
They wanted to.
I think The Rock did.
They wanted to show the clips of the humiliation that took place last week. Which was funny because you got these two people talking about a promo about how they were so humiliated and defamed, yet they say, let's run the footage. That was stupid to me.
Yeah.
So we get to see The Rock singing about Paul Heyman's supposedly small penis.
Right.
He hasn't seen it in years. We get some humor out of The Rock. And then they played Vicky's video with a little biatch.
Beautiful
you look
tonight.
horrible tonight. I gotta say though, that's been stuck in my head all week though.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I've had some
one of my favorite songs of all time.
I'm not singing The Rock's even. I just have Clapton in my head nonstop from that. Like you hear it once and boom. Essentially, Vicky makes the statement that The Rock is banned from entering her arena tonight.
He will be arrested if he if he crosses, I guess, the border into the arena.
But Vicky was so prepared because she knew that she was going to lay the law down that she had a camera crew in the back outside so we can see The Rock and his disgust of not being able to get in the arena. And he was there with a random metal detector randomly back there in the backstage.
Yeah.
And he starts talking to Vicky and says, "What, Vicky? Did you swallow some stink pickles?" We get a lot of the Rock's
stink pickles. That's a new one. That wasn't trending, was it?
And you get a lot of terms.
Yep. Do you think he comes up with these things before? Do you think he just comes up with stink pickle as he's standing there?
I think it's a combination of he's got some words in mind and then others. It doesn't matter what he says, so he just says it in hopes that it sticks and becomes a new catchphrase. Yeah. What do you think? You like stink pickles, Cathy?
I feel like I've seen a lot of his come back, though. What was the one that he said to, I'm trying to think.
You're thinking?
Twinkie tits?
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't want to say it again.
Come on, Josh.
I'm sorry.
Well, no, you can say the word. I mean, we're going to talk Twinkie tits later, but we're just jumping ahead of the gun right there. Twinkie tits. No more Twinkies available.
No.
David Otunga shot some, tweeted some pictures of him buying the last of the hostess at a store.
It's very strange going into a 7-Eleven in places now and not seeing all that stuff.
Back to The Rock, who says there's not an entity on this planet or a force in this world that can stop The Rock, and essentially telling the cops, man, nothing you can do. The Rock, what The Rock says, The Rock does. Do you like The Rock, Josh?
I love The Rock.
You a big Rock fan?
Oh, yeah. I mean, but my allegiance lies with Punk right now. Rocky had his time.
If The Rock wins, can we get you tattooed with a Brahma bull?
Ooh.
I will not defile my body with any ink. Thank you very much.
What about
I don't think CM Punk would appreciate you saying that. Defiling your body.
I don't do. Well, yeah, I know. Yeah, he loves that.
Rock also said that CM Punk was a lot like, what's his name? Teo. Manti Teo. What's his name? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, I've never actually heard it.
Because while Teo
Manti Teo.
There you go. While Teo has an imaginary girlfriend, apparently CM Punk has an imaginary nutsack. And that these cops that are back here need to arrest Paul Heyman for not wearing a bra. And that Vicky needs to check on her intestines because she's got her head straight up her ass. The Rock.
Typical Rock stuff.
Typical. And The Rock means no way. Yeah, I know, it was the same old stuff.
Yeah.
Essentially, The Rock telling the cops once again, it's not a question of if, it's a matter of when he makes it to the ring. And Vicky just closed it off by saying, Rock, the only song you're going to sing tonight is Jailhouse Rock.
Heyman liked it.
He said that was very clever.
It was. I thought it was. I actually thought that was quite clever as well.
If you smell what the Vic is cooking. She rocked it. She stole his line. First match of the night. We go through all of that nonsense.
Yeah, and that was, and that how long? That was 15 minutes or so. That was the whole.
It was actually entertaining. I can't say that I didn't like it.
It was okay. Yeah, it was actually wasn't bad.
Beat the clock matchup. This is where I got an issue because this just turns into a storyline mess by the end of the show.
And I always, I was actually thinking, I always love these beat the clock things because there's so much room for a disaster to happen, like things to go wrong.
Wait,
you always see
Ryan,
people.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but where's my head? We didn't give a shout out to Martin Luther King yet.
Oh no, we didn't.
MLK Day.
MLK Day, and we started the broadcast with a little tribute to the man who had a dream. I'm sorry for interrupting you, but I had to get that out.
No, you're right. But I was saying I like these beat the clocks because there's a lot of room for mistakes to happen, and people win and lose who aren't supposed to. Things don't go always according to storyline because the timing is so tight on these sometimes. So you never know what's going to go wrong. So I actually enjoy when they have these.
Now, when they started the beat the clock, I made a comment to Josh over here about how it's funny when there's beat the clock matches, how guys usually win matches pretty fast. But like when there's no beat the clock, it takes 20 minutes. But we saw some long matches tonight.
It was a different beat the clock. I actually liked it.
Yeah, they were real matches. It wasn't really playing the gimmick of everything so fast and so hurried and rushed.
And we'll get to it later, but yeah, they actually didn't put writing-wise, they didn't paint themselves into a corner the way having it to be too close where guys are going to miss the timing.
First match was the WWE's Apex Predator, Randy Orton, taking on Antonio Cesaro.
My favorite.
Who started the match going for a quick cover. He knew that he's trying to... So we didn't say that. If the wrestler who beats the clock, the wrestler who wins the fastest tonight will get their chance to choose what number they want to enter the Royal Rumble. This match was pretty good, back and forth action. A Luthez press in this match.
A lot of that going around nowadays.
There's a lot of Luthez presses going around. We saw Caitlyn rock one later in the night. I believe Ryback's doing it nowadays.
I've seen Sheamus
there used to be someone there who'd be like, yeah, we already saw that move. You can't do it this show.
And I think it wasn't just Cesaro going for the quick ropes. Orton was as well, right? They were both trying to get, I think, the pins quickly. So it was good storytelling there in the beginning.
In the end, action shuffled to the outside. Cesaro went to get back in the ring, and out of nowhere, boom, Randy Orton hits the RKO.
And there were good I thought the false finishes were really good.
There were some nice falses in this one.
In this as well. And yeah, I loved the RKO out of nowhere. It was good.
And in the end, came out of nowhere. It was effective. I mean, I know we're all disappointed when Cesaro loses, but it was nice.
Yeah, I don't think it hurt him.
And Randy Orton sets the clock at 11 minutes and 36 seconds.
Good long match.
Not too hard to beat that, though.
We've noticed that over the course of the last 2 months.
Yeah, and this was a rematch from main event, I think, this week, right?
But match times are definitely increasing on Raw. We're not seeing I mean, you'll still get them, but you're getting a lot more full, real, pretty much pay-per-view quality matches instead of the 4-minute TV throwaways. So it's pretty interesting to see that. Next, we went to a little package on our Hall of Fame inductee, the man known as Cactus Jack.
Or Dude Love.
or Mankind,
or
Mrs. Foley's baby boy. There it is.
There we go.
Worms, JR, wriggly little worms. Man, we get to see a package for him on the Hall of Fame. I love Foley. I can't say I love current Foley. I mean, I'm fine with him not being on TV.
Yeah, I agree.
But Foley in his prime was awesome.
I like Foley as like throwing Mick on a couple times a year. You know, like, hey, here's my. I do like, you know,
it's
just
fun in the Christmas episode.
Exactly, to say hello every once in a while. I like when they do that. But yeah, one of my favorites. I mean, guy who loved wrestling, had a huge heart for it. Put his body on the line and destroyed his body for
Mankind action fit. Wait, what are you laughing at?
No, I mean, like, we've seen that cage match so many times that they've done like the promo for, and they cut it into tonight where he like falls from the.
That would be called a Hell in the Cell, not a cage match.
Sorry, I'm a noob.
Drink on air and
whatever.
I mean, that was intense. The teeth and everything.
Oh yeah,
coming out of his nose.
Yeah.
I mean,
Foley,
some of the greatest highlights in the history of the sport.
But probably the worst he ever had was the Rock I Quit match.
Oh my God, those chair shots. That was like.
And what's more brutal?
Tough to watch, man.
What's more brutal to watch is beyond the mat when you watch his family watching him go through that as his wife and children are screaming.
So to fill Cathy in, so Rock wrestled Foley back in the day, and it was an I Quit
like '99.
match. And it was an I Quit match, and the match finished when Foley had his hands handcuffed behind his back. And Rock just kept smacking him with chair shots.
Probably around 15 of them?
I think it was 13 or 20, so anywhere in that neighborhood.
Full on.
Split his head open. I mean, there's a documentary about the whole match where Foley's family and like little kids were watching and like going crazy and like crying and couldn't watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, he had like
his wife pulls the kids out of the arena and pulls them back. It's great.
I watched the Attitude Era DVD a couple weeks ago, and he got a lot of airtime in that, and they were just talking about how he really did put his body on the line
all the time.
Everything.
He traveled around the world with me. I took my Mankind action figure with me.
Really?
Backpacking through Europe. I took it with me when I had my first interview in Stanford at Titan Towers.
Oh wow.
I'm a big Foley fan. I like the guy. He's a genuinely nice guy too. Like he puts out that, you know, he's such a brute in the ring and so sadistic and out there, but he's just such a goofy, friendly guy.
Talented writer, smart guy.
Yeah, man. Yeah. New York Times best-selling writer.
His books are great.
Yeah.
From that package, we got what I'll call one of my favorite promos. I mean, this Shield promo was on, man.
I mean, this wasn't really a promo. This was more of a video.
A package,
it was a package of all their stuff put together, but it was great.
It was so good. This is my favorite style of WWE production, especially when you had it where it was seeming like it was their style of promo, but then they cut in the package style stuff.
It almost felt like it was starting as a promo and then became a package, so it was it was different. It was cool.
It was cool,
It was very cool.
This is the kind of stuff I like that gets me excited to watch the product, that gets me passionate, that gets my adrenaline going, that gets my blood flowing.
Yeah.
Man, essentially they said, open your eyes or we'll open them for you.
And I love, did you see the promo they aired on SmackDown this week? I sent the one I sent it, I don't know if you watch, I sent it over Facebook, but it was with Roman, you know, I forget what he was screaming, but they were, it was different. It was Roman getting really intense. It was awesome.
It is good to see packages from them because I feel like a lot of people have said that their act is kind of getting stale.
Yeah. And the packages are the best way to keep
because they're doing the same thing. It's not their fault.
Because
the creative team hasn't done anything with them.
They can say the same thing week in and week out in all these packages, but if WWE puts their production machine to work the best that they know how to do, it's going to be fresh and entertaining every single time. Just from the music and the sound effects and the slow-mo to fast-mo and the cuts, it's so good. You will believe in the Shield because we're just getting started.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what Roman screams. He's like, believe in the Shield!
Roman's dope, dude.
Yeah.
Roman's my fave. I was all on the Ambrose bandwagon when this all started, but Roman's my breakthrough, man.
I think all three of them, are guys that could be to the top in a few years, main event level. All three of them, I think, could be.
I like what Raven said earlier this week to me. He said that Roman will have a run like Batista. He will be like a next a la Batista, but like Ambrose will be the next superstar. He's the man.
Next matchup on the show tonight, Big Show taking on the man whose YouTube show just came to an end, Zach Woo Woo Woo, you know it, Ryder.
I don't know if you can really call this a match. I mean, this is a absolute just destruction. Not one. I don't think Ryder got one offensive move in. Not even.
He just took the WMD.
He got body slammed. He got chopped. He took a bunch of stuff and then the WMD.
But more importantly, there was a guest commentator on this match.
Yes. Who's awesome, by the way.
Hey, let's look over towards the social lounge over there. She made a comment. She made a negative comment about him today.
Yeah. I feel like he could have had a little more fabric in that shirt.
A little tight.
It was a little tight. But I'm not complaining.
Man works hard for his physique.
I think he's funny.
He's pretty entertaining guy.
I thought he was great on the mic. I think he's great. The whole thing on main event was great, I thought hilarious. If you don't watch main event, he did the same thing. He
jumped over the rail.
And they were sitting there, and he goes, "All right, everyone, we're going to take a commercial break." And Michael Cole's like, "The producer did not call us a commercial break." And he goes, "Man, the traffic was terrible today, and the weather." And Cole's like, "Guy, we're on the air." And he's like, and he goes, "Oh, welcome back to main event, everybody."
I'm Brad Maddox along with Michael Cole.
It was very, very funny.
And then I like that with this match being so fast and Ryder getting knocked out right away, that Maddox didn't stay around. He was like, "Man, I'm out. I got job opportunities to check out right now." And I like how Cole's just constantly, "Man, you're not even under contract with this company. What are you doing here?" There's a lot of issues with the contracts these
Absolutely.
days. You brought up that you don't like this non-contracted guys being involved and stuff.
But I like this thing with Maddox. Like I don't with him, and maybe it's just because I think he's so charismatic and he's very funny the way he's doing it. I want to watch. I want to see Brad Maddox on my screen right now.
It seems like the chat roll really likes him too. Like every single person in here is saying that they love him. They don't want to see him just as a gimmick, and they think he can wrestle. I mean, everyone from here to Saudi Arabia.
And that's the thing. We haven't seen him really wrestle yet, but I've liked his character. I've enjoyed seeing that and building up to when we're going to see him.
All of you
wrestle.
people who love looking up the YouTube clips, there's a clip online from the OVW days of Maddox and his original gimmick versus Ryback back in the day. Let's go check
Ryback
it
with
out.
hair.
Yeah.
I do find it interesting that the contracted wrestler, The Rock, is not allowed into the building, but the uncontracted wrestler is able to hop the guardrail and get on the commentator.
Yeah, well, we'll get into it later about The Rock not hopping the guardrail.
Well,
but
once Maddox left the area, Big Show got on the mic and essentially said that Booker T is jealous of Big Show, and he was put in a situation, because of Booker T's jealousy, and that at the Royal Rumble, it's going to be Alberto Del Rio versus Big Show for the championship, and it's going to be a last man standing match
again.
Not bad. It's going to be. I'm loving Face Del Rio right now. I like Babyface Del Rio, so I think this could be a pretty good match.
Yeah, throwing in some lucha moves.
Del Rio's whole entire offense was different this matchup later tonight, so it's interesting to see. Backstage in the backstage area, Paul Heyman is on the phone, and in walks, once again,
Brad Maddox.
Female viewership goes up 25 to 37%.
Absolutely.
I could feel it.
You could feel it? You relate to that, Josh?
I love that.
Apparently, Josh brings our female viewership up too.
People are saying that he looks like Brad Maddox.
Josh is our Brad. Josh is our Brad Maddox.
And he has the heel beard going on.
And his sleeves around his biceps are pretty tight too.
Oh yeah, he's been clanging and banging.
Yeah, it's just a small shirt. I have a Brad Maddox syndrome.
Maddox essentially saying, "Paul, there's nothing I wouldn't do to keep my dream of fame alive." And Heyman's pretty much said, "Hey, I like your gusto. I like that you got persistence.
Stick with me, and you will be famous."
Yeah, he said, "I'll make your dreams come true."
Yeah.
And then he grabs his phone and goes,
"Yeah, that was hysterical." Heyman pulls the old, like, if it was a real phone, if you're touching numbers, you can't do that on an iPhone now.
What are you talking about? It's the
you're already looking at it.
No, it's the digital.
He wasn't looking, and he's sitting there hitting numbers. There's no way he's accurately dialing a call right there. Not possible on a touchscreen phone. Ryback versus Heath Slater.
And I just want to say now,
you say it, Ryan.
Just quickly, just a little prediction. I believe that actually Maddox is not going to be connected to CM Punk, that he just went on his own. I think they may have at one point been thinking that, but the way I feel, maybe the Shield will be, but Maddox will not be. Maddox was just a guy
and I don't think the Shield
own.
will be either. I think they're still pushing that too much in our face that it seems that way, that it's not going to end up that way. Ryback versus Heath Slater.
Ooh, who's going to win this one?
I think it's going to be Heath Slater.
Three-man bang!
Baby! Dude with a better mustache than mine in the crowd, though, right there.
Wow, yeah.
My mustache got its ass kicked by that dude in the crowd today.
Yeah, you did. And he brought his own, like, face thing, so you saw his giant face.
Yeah, and who'd they rip that off from, Ryan Clum?
I don't know. Was that you?
GQ Money 2006.
Oh, that's right. You do have a giant GQ Money face.
Cold Day in Hell. Fan in the crowd bought an 8-foot GQ Money face on a stick, baby.
Those things can't be cheap, right?
No, and the one that I have is made out of plastic. Like the guy, they gave it to me after the show. It's made of plastic. It's like high end. Yeah.
Wow.
I'll bring it into here one day. It's just it's so big.
You should from now on have it behind you.
All right, we can do that.
Someone said the mustache dude is a WWE employee.
Oh, so
that's the rumor in the chat.
And Ryan, you were asking that. You were saying why were they getting so much TV time?
It felt like a plant to me tonight.
I gotta say that in my times backstage, I've never seen anyone else with the handlebar before. Yeah. So I don't know, but there could always be office employees.
You're a trendsetter. That's all it is.
Thanks, Cathy. Thanks for having that faith in my trend-setting abilities. Too bad they're not trending on Twitter. Essentially, Ryback's saying, after the match, got on the mic, got on the stick.
And I actually have a quick question on this. Why didn't he get a beat the clock match tonight?
Right,
he's part of the whole thing.
I thought wasn't he? 3MBs in the Rumble. Why weren't all of the matches?
Why wasn't this beat the clock?
He can't have a long match.
Right, because that was the thing is they didn't want Ryback to get it, and they wanted him to squash someone, and he.
Yeah, definitely a fundamental mistake in the design. I don't like the whole concept of this beat the clock for this particular show, and it even becomes more convoluted later.
Yeah, I like the idea, but there are some logic holes tonight.
Ryback says on the mic, "This is a match. This Royal Rumble match is a match I was made for, a match I will thrive on, and it will lead me to the main event of WrestleMania."
Mm-hmm.
You think Ryback's got a chance in the Rumble?
Nope.
No, but I think they'll make us think
he's not penciled into any of the preliminary plans.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so, but I think he'll have a good showing in the Rumble.
Would you like to go to another match, or we want to go to a backstage segment? We're going to go to a backstage segment. I was just seeing what you'd prefer at this moment.
Oh, I don't know.
Rock is in the back with the cops, telling the cops that you are here to protect and serve the people.
And he needs to get in that ring.
Because the people that are here in attendance at San Jose, they worked hard for their dollar to see The Rock. And here was something interesting. Vicky comes back in.
Mm-hmm.
And Vicky essentially tells the cops that she's going to suspend the cops.
Right. She's not their lieutenant or whatever.
She made it like she was going to suspend the cops.
Right.
And I was
no, she said, if you guys do it, you will be suspended. What your lieutenant, whatever, said is you will be suspended. So,
gotcha.
but still, she was throwing her weight around, and one of the cops was like, ooh, reacted to it like, oh my God, shut up, who are you?
And then The Rock decides to have another personal conversation.
I'm just on special detail, lady. I'm making $25 an hour doing this.
One of the cops tells The Rock that his wife and kids are here at the show because he was supposed to be the show at the show tonight. And he's got a ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That in movies, that's what we call foreshadowing.
Tell me about foreshadowing, Uncle Ryan.
Well, Smiley.
Sets it up, and we go on from there to start hour number 2 with CM Punk. But before we get to hour number 2, let's talk iTunes, where you guys should all head, subscribe, rate, comment, and do all that stuff.
And download
every episode automatically right to the convenience of your iPod or MP3 player.
Yep. Yeah. Listen to it in the car.
I also want to say, in addition to rating and commenting on iTunes, we actually have an AfterBuzz store up now. Finally. Wow. A lot of people have been asking for it. So if you go to AfterBuzzTV.com, you can just look right above shows. It says shop here or shop now.
Can you get one of these AfterBuzz TV coffee mugs?
Yeah, you can. Wow. And you know what? You can put tea in it. You can put hot cocoa in it. It's not just for coffee.
Whoa.
So,
it's for ginger ale?
Can I dip my cookies in milk in the cup like that? This is incredible.
You can buy baby onesies.
I want to see Clum in a onesie.
Or a onesie.
Man, just go, rate, buy things.
And if you listen to us on
us
iTunes, go check us out on YouTube as well, because you can see us there.
Kathy's better to look at than just listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm better to listen to than look at sometimes.
And you can go make comments on there like Cathy Kelley equals ratings. which several were commenting on.
Our iTunes ratings have gone up. We're at 4.5. We're not a 4 that our little weekly rundown puts us at. We're a 4.5.
And it was 4 when we started, so
we're 4.5. Let's talk as we're going to the second hour. I think we got 2 minutes. We can kind of go off tangent. So last Friday night, our crew, went to the WWE house show at the Staples Center, and we had ourselves a nice, fun time.
Well, it wasn't just our crew.
No, it was the whole entire AfterBuzz Raw crew.
Like 8 of us.
We had us, we had our producers, we had our engineers, we had our executive producers. We were styling and profiling.
In awesome seats too.
Great seats.
Wow. We couldn't have picked better seats.
No, man, you get the boards to throw your feet on right there. I think we may have some pictures.
We get VIP treatment here.
We of course we get VIP treatment. We're representing Maria Menounos, baby.
And we had a couple people recognized us out there as well.
We did. I took a bunch of pictures with fans. You took some pictures with fans. Josh shook a couple hands.
I got some hugs too from some.
Oh, there we go. Oh, there's from the ice skating.
So after the show, we decided to go for a little ice skating exhibition at LA Live. And man, I gotta diet. I'm looking at that again. My mom's gonna be like, "How do you let them show that picture of you? Your belly looks huge." Man, yeah. Well, I decided to do a little showboating on the ice skating rink, and
show the.
And I'm on crutches now. Yeah, I'm not gonna really show the ankle, but I think our fans can go over to Facebook.com/BuzzingAfterRaw.
Do you need crutches? Nah, I don't need crutches.
Man, I was
next day I get a text. You have those crutches, right?
I was trying to tough it out, man it up, walk it off, and when I got home that
dirt
night,
on it.
Man, when I got home and I took my sock off. I mean, look at Spastic Josh wearing a kid's large John Cena shirt that we happened to throw to a little kid that was sitting behind us.
Did you ever get that clip? We have a.
No, it doesn't seem so. But we're just chugging some pictures.
Let me check. I can pull it up.
He's checking it up again.
Martin, our engineer, was there.
Martin, our engineer, was there. See, I mean, he could thank Couch Boy for that.
Yeah, Couch Boy was not able to make it. What did you think about going to your first wrestling event?
I thought it was a lot of fun. I'm glad we had amazing seats, so that always helps. But it was really cool. I think the energy there was awesome. Yeah, it was electric.
And Ziggler Cena was an awesome match.
As was Punk Ryback.
That wasn't last though.
Here's what they do on house shows. They actually let their main guys, they do it in the first half and go to intermission so that they can leave and go to their hotel without being bombarded by fans after the show.
They're so smart.
That's the old Hogan technique. Hogan would usually wrestle before intermission at the house shows.
Cool.
Oh, wow.
So, wait, here's a clip.
Do we have here we go.
Ziggler and
Cena right here.
That whole place is packed too.
Wait, we're going to get a pan over, I think.
Yeah.
Because Ziggler's about to...
And who's that watching her favorite wrestler, Dolph Ziggler?
Fantastic. No, it was a blast, and if I wasn't trying to showboat for Cathy Kelley, I'd probably be walking out of here okay. But no.
I feel terrible because I said, I'm so afraid I got a big match next week, and I don't want to break my ankle. And Smiley goes, you're not going to break your ankle. You'll be fine. And he was right. I didn't.
Well, that was the thing.
Someone else hurt themselves.
We were all like... not trying to show off, not trying to push our limits. And then here we have, well, no, I was going to say except for Smiley. You were the one who was like trying to do triple axels on the ice.
Man, I am a former state champion ice hockey player. I have I at least normally have some skills on an ice skating rink. I blame the rental skates.
They were terrible.
I will be suing the rental skate company for negligence on the form and creation. Because aren't you supposed to not be able to roll your ankle in an ice skate, technically?
Tight. They're supposed to be very tight, and those are very loose skates.
Very loose. Yeah. All right, let's get back to wrestling.
Just say, walking to the car or walking back to the station.
Hopping to the car.
Yeah, we had to stop that about halfway through because it took us about 5-10 minutes to make it about a half a block.
I was so embarrassed.
So that's it. We got to call Cathy.
I was so embarrassed.
A ride.
I was so embarrassed going home, man. So embarrassed.
I thought you were joking too because of the blood capsule thing from a couple weeks back.
Oh yeah.
And then I came in today, and she's like,
"Boy who cried wolf," right there.
And she's like, "How is it?"
Mean.
So she's like, "How is it?" And I'm like, "It's not good." I actually went to the doctor today. She's like, "Well, you said it's just a sprain." And I was like, "No, it's fractured in multiple places, and I actually have to get surgery on."
You should have been like, like they need to amputate.
Well, I told her I was getting surgery on Thursday with pins, plates, and the whole nine. And then she started getting so upset.
I almost called our boss.
And she was like, because she felt like it was her fault, because she suggested ice skating. All right, I think we're gonna get buzzed. It's time to get back to Raw.
Let's get back out.
Second hour, hour 2, CM Punk starting it off, talking about the fact that this is my life's work.
Once again, an amazing promo.
He's good, man.
Amazing, to the point. Just showed, I think, showed up The Rock tonight.
I won't lie, I wasn't always on the CM Punk bandwagon over the last 5 years, years or so. I've known him from the Indies. Think he's very talented. Think he's always been good, but just it wasn't my cup of tea. Man, this year he's awesome, man. I mean, I used to talk about me on the mic, at various shows, but he's incredible, man. He is what he is, and that's what he claims, and that's the best in the world right now.
He said he holds the title more dearly than most people hold their families.
Yeah, man. He said he worked half his life to hold on to this. Yeah. He's been spending that much time, and while The Rock entertains, electrifies, sings songs, and tells jokes, he's there to hurt people and to be the champion.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, Rock is almost as proud of being the people's champ as I'm being a real champion.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the way he's so serious tonight.
I looked over to everyone. I was like, dude, he looks scary tonight.
Yeah.
He looked psychotically angry, intense.
And it just showed you how important that belt or that title is to him.
And because when you look at those two staring off at each other when they were fighting last week, it's like, oh my God, The Rock's humongous compared to Punk. But when you see into those
there was
eyes,
fire.
Ooh, you're like, hey, that's a champ right there.
It's the eye of the tiger.
Yeah, I do look at it and go, I believe that Punk wants it.
428 days. CM Punk says he made a choice between hypocritical humility and honest arrogance, and he chose honest arrogance as opposed to The Rock, who just sits there and gives the people what they want, kisses ass all the time. They call him the Brahma Bull. They call him the Great One. But they can't call him the champion. And he realized a long time ago that the people don't matter, and all that matters, not this one, but this.
The spinner.
Yeah. He will not allow The Rock to take away his title.
Will not allow it to happen. But The Rock promises.
That's tight. When a face promises, he didn't guarantee it.
Yeah, and I read something the other day about The Rock swearing to God, and I've never heard this before, but supposedly there's an unwritten rule where the babyface, if they swear to God, it means they'll win, and so that's why there's some rumors that Rock was not going to win it
if
here.
I ever swore to God, I'd have my mouth washed out with soap.
Mm-hmm. But.
Sorry, one of those days.
But I had never heard that before. I mean, that could just be internet rumors. But
I've never heard that one either.
I had never heard that. But there are some people saying, well, could they have switched back because The Rock is swearing to God? So maybe now people are saying they think he is going to win on the Rumble. So we shall see.
Man, I hope not. I'm still hoping for a Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I would actually like to see Punk not only hold it through Rumble, hold it through Mania to get to the point of we don't know when this guy's going to lose the belt, because as a kid, these long title runs, when the guy had it forever, it would make you want to watch every match to see him lose.
You believed that King Kong Bundy may beat Hogan. You believed that Andre the Giant would beat Hogan. You believed that Macho Man Randy Savage or the Warrior. It was always one of these guys is going to do it, and you just never knew when.
And if Punk gets through WrestleMania, because everyone's expecting him to either lose it at the Rumble, lose it at Elimination Chamber, lose it at Mania. No one expects him to have it through. You could do whatever you want with him. You could put it on him for another year if you want. You could let him lose it in a couple months. You never are going to know. I think it could bring a lot of excitement, personally. I don't think they're going to go that way, but that's what I would like to see.
You know my opinion. I'm still a fan of the Rock coming in, taking the championship to Hollywood route.
I'd like to see The Rock not get the belt and almost have to go back to starting, because he was just given a title shot. So I'd like to see him have to go back, maybe earn it, and then give it to him later on. But I don't want to see Punk lose his reign. This is historic.
It is historic. It's already made history, so we can move on to the next phase of history.
Yeah, I think there's still more.
The Rock don't have time to have the championship belt. He's got a movie coming out once a month starting next month.
That means he already
summer.
shot those the last 2 years.
But he's got to go to premieres.
He's got to do 2 days a week or a day a week.
Unless he can do 30 Raws. He has to make 30 of 50 Raws for him to be a champion for me. If not, he gotta.
I don't agree because
because
of those 30, 15 of them could be through satellite feeds, man. And he'd be just as entertaining on the set of one of his blockbusters.
But that's what we've been getting for the last couple years.
You don't ever get it. You don't ever get him on the set. You don't ever get him in the Hollywood world. You know he's Hollywood.
Once in a while,
but you don't get him in his world.
And I think we would go back to that again of him not sure even doing those video feeds. We get The Rock once in a while.
I think that makes The Rock one of the. Honestly, I think it makes The Rock the biggest star in the world if he is the WWE champion while a movie star.
I mean, I guess it also. I mean, honestly, I guess it would be kind of old schoolish because
This is Flintstone, Stoney Curtis kind of stuff,
because
man.
I mean,
this is Rock Quarry or Rock Hudson.
I don't love it, but at the same time, it would be almost kind of going back to the old Hogan, old school era, because Hogan did not appear on all the weekly shows. He was on the pay-per-views. He might promote it through a taped interview or something, but
here's the deal:
he was not wrestling and he was not live at all those shows.
Everyone's loving CM Punk, but the fact is, ratings of the last 2 years have not been. They haven't been horrible, but they haven't been great.
No.
Rock has been elevating ratings. Last week was a great turnout. Ratings shot up for Rock singing and all of that. Rock brings ratings. If Rock is the movie star and the champ, it's just going to bring more and more worldwide eyes and exposure to the product, and I think it's better for business in the long run. And as I explained weeks ago, it also allows us a situation where now building contenders is important. It's not just the championship, it's your list of contenders.
That is true.
Because we always see a #1 contenders match, and it's two random people who've been, who are just in there, and now they're the #1 contender. Now the #1 contender means something when you got a situation where the champ's not there.
That is true. Only defend the title on some of like maybe the big four, maybe 4 or 5 times in the year, have the #1 contendership, or even the world heavyweight title be. Yeah,
I mean, like I said, I just think it's good for business.
Yeah. I mean, and normally you have an argument. You have a definite
normally
argument.
I would say, hell no, don't do something like that. Don't put it on a part-timer. Don't put it on a guy who's just there for the paycheck. In this circumstance, especially with The Rock in such good shape,
it's a special
these days,
situation.
I mean, I believe that he's a world champion.
Yeah.
I believe that he's been in the gym every single day before his movie set, getting ready.
He's unlike anybody else who's ever been in the business. There's never been anyone that's been a wrestler that's gone and elevated his star to that level.
And you also have to think about all of the people from his movies, like all of those fans that now know him as the actor, not as the wrestler, who are going to come back to wrestling.
And that is very true. Mick Foley actually talks about his younger kids didn't even know their dad wrestled the movie star Dwayne Johnson. You know, they knew him as a movie star and didn't even know he was a wrestler. And he's like, well, you know your dad wrestled that guy, right?
Yeah. Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz. Beat the clock match. This match was pretty good.
And I'm expecting Dolph Ziggler to look strong in this match.
Dolph Ziggler doesn't look strong very often anymore.
I know, right? Lately, he's been feuding with Super Cena, so not a chance, right?
Man, the match was solid until Miz locked on the most piss-poor figure 4 leg lock we've ever seen in the history of this sport.
Like, even I know how to do a figure 4.
That was a shout-out to Tony Schiavone right there.
Oh, yeah, Tony Schiavone?
Yeah, the greatest maneuver in the history of our great sport.
Oh.
What a maneuver!
No, that's Vince.
That's Vince.
But no, Schiavone would always just pop the greatest in the history of our great sport.
Oh, gotcha.
Anyways, man, this thing wasn't even cinched in. The leg wasn't above the kneecap.
I actually missed that. I was watching back home, and I stepped away from the TV for a moment.
I mean, the legs were crossed. Like down here.
Oh, okay.
It was awful.
You can still do it even with a sprained ankle.
Absolutely, Cathy Kelley, because that's the kind of guy I am.
He locked in okay last week.
Yeah, because it was.
Because Flair showed him how to do it.
He didn't do this. He didn't do the full step around. He just went right to the ground. He didn't lock. It was just.
And like I've seen Shawn Michaels do a figure 4
Everyone knows how to. Dude, every 9-year-old kid that watches wrestling knows how to do it to his little brother or his dad.
Yeah, I mean, wrestling team in high school, everyone was locking that thing on each other all the time.
Of course they were. Just like every 12-year-old kid knows, roll over to reverse the pressure. Anyways, that went on, but Big E Langston had a little distraction action. Miz was distracted by it, went to make a move for Big E, only to get hit with the zigzag from Dolph for the 1, 2, 3. 10 minutes, 56 seconds, and your new leader on the Beat the Clock Challenge, Dolph Ziggler.
Dolph Ziggler.
Nice.
We all like that, but it's cool. It was a good match until that.
I'm still not loving this Big E with them. I don't like. I'd like to see Big E. I just don't like where they placed him.
And Big E's starting to go the comedy route right now.
Yeah, they need to remove him from them pronto. Honestly. I think it was a mistake putting him with him. I think it brings Ziggler, and I like Ziggler and AJ together. It's too much.
The funny thing is,
there's no reason for him to be there.
This week came off much more like Dolph and Big E, and AJ is just randomly hanging around.
Put Big E somewhere else. I think it was ill-advised sticking him with her. It was just, oh, what should we do? Let's put him as AJ's friend. What does that mean?
Yeah.
What does that mean? To me, it just screams of lazy writing to me. But
I'm pretty pissed off about the next segment. Super angry.
What was the next segment? Anger management.
Graduation with Dr. Miriam Shelby.
How could they not bring all the other students in there just right down the road, all of you guys?
Obviously, I knew I was here and didn't get a call, but I said to Josh, I was like, watch, Harold's going to come out. And I was waiting
for Harold.
I was waiting for Harold when they were talking about valedictorian, that just pull a swerve and bring out Harold.
But they can't, right? I mean, they said they would never work with him after his mess up.
Yeah, but...
Well, see, I mean, I think that was also PR stuff. I think...
They just wanted to keep their reputation clean.
Yeah, that's just... We're not going to do that. In 6 months, it'll be forgotten about.
Yeah. Shelby called Daniel Bryan a tightly wound little man-child when he first started. You know, when he first started anger management, he was a tightly wound little man-child. Segment really it was fine. Didn't mean anything.
You're the valedictorian. No, you're the valedictorian. Yeah.
It was cute though when they started asking everyone to hug.
The hugs was fun. I enjoyed the hugs.
Everyone loves hugs.
Yeah.
Everyone does love hugs. Getting to see.
Should we all hug?
No.
Wow. Cathy's denied your request.
We'll do a hug later.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't want a hug from Cathy anyway, so.
Okay.
So there.
Intergender matchup being set up right here. It sounds like Morals versus Cupcake.
She doesn't want to get there with Ryan Morals.
She doesn't want to get there.
Ryan Morals.
Divas matchup. Caitlyn taking on Alicia Fox.
Oh, our first African-American wrestler on MLK.
Yeah, so Josh looks at me right before this match, and he's like,
I didn't even think
don't you find it weird that we're in, like, halfway through the second hour on Martin Luther King Day, and there's been no black wrestlers?
That's true. No Otunga, no R-Truth.
No Booker T, no Kofi Kingston.
No JTG. Well, JTG was in later on. But
I was expecting, like, a Crime Time reunion.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that. Wow. Yeah.
And then there was a sign for Caitlyn in the crowd that I pointed out that had the mustache on it. I was kind of confused.
Yeah.
It's a random Caitlyn sign that had like a heart, and then the heart had like the mustache.
The smiley mustache?
Yeah, but I have no idea what that person was thinking making that sign.
I don't know.
Tons of Cookie Puss signs in the crowd today. Tons.
Yeah.
Really, San Jose? Whatever.
Man, I'm coughing today. I'm struggling.
And I guarantee you all those people who have those Cookie Puss signs have no idea what Cookie Puss is.
We talked about it. Carvel,
it's Carvel ice cream, but it's yeah. I'm
they had pictures of CM Punk as a cat. It looked like Cat in the Hat, but it was Punk. I'm like, what? You guys are losing the.
Caitlyn won with the spear, and I know that our audience.
It was botched a bit too.
I know our audience loves the Divas matches, and we're supporters and fans. But if you're being honest, this crowd tonight in San Jose was hot all night. The second that match started, vacuum suck of energy.
And Alicia was actually okay in this.
Silent. I'm a fan of Alicia Fox. She's one of my favorite divas.
And I think sometimes her timing and just some of her ring awareness isn't great, but I thought she was actually okay tonight. I thought she was much better. She looked athletic.
Yeah, that stuff
she's
doesn't
very
bother
athletic.
Me, and she's very charismatic.
Yeah, and that's the thing is she has some great looking moves. It was just, her whole package putting together I didn't like, but I think she's getting much smoother and her timing's getting much better. So I thought she actually was the better of the two tonight.
Yeah, these girls need some time backstage, right?
I was going to say they need to do some promos with the divas, because that's why I feel like they aren't getting that push from the audience when they go out on, in the ring.
Everyone always
they don't promote them as credible.
Right, and there's no reason to be invested in the character when WWE doesn't invest any time in the character itself. So we have no emotional connection. We're not plugged into why they're doing what they're doing, what their ambition, what their goal is, we're just not in tune with them at all.
Even AJ's been getting less screen time, and she's like, she used to be so independent, and she would have a good like promo every single week, and now she gets nothing.
The Divas almost need their own show, like their own hour show. Build everything up through that, then, you know, give us a match here and there on Raw, but they almost need...
I won't go that far, but here's where I will go, is if you got a 3-hour Raw, you can definitely format the show that's much more geared to being almost like we always talked about when we first were going to get 3 hours, that you can almost set up a pre-show for a half hour, and then, you know, it's a 3-hour broadcast. The first 30 minutes becomes pre-show, sets up stories, promos, interviews. Then we go right into the first hour and a half of just wrestling matches and what's set, and then we go into some more shtick. But then you can set up where you got 20, 30 minutes of a mini program of cruisers. You got 20, 30 minutes of the Divas, and then you follow it up with your main event and your little post-show 10-minute wrap-up.
They've also been talking about revamping their YouTube since there's rumors that they're going to re-sign a new contract with that. So why don't they do some promos that are exclusively on YouTube?
You could do a Diva, like the whole Diva storyline could be.
And they have been doing a bunch of storylines on YouTube.
They do storylines through a lot of the backstage fallout segments that happen.
Like the Kali and Natalia thing has been big through there.
In the main show, but it just seems like WWE doesn't want that.
No, it's true.
It's not their focus.
Yeah.
It's weird. I mean, it's so funny. We all passionately love this company, and then we get so disappointed when they don't do what we want them to do.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do? You just go with the flow.
Yep. A lot on their plate.
CM Punk with Paul Heyman backstage. And Heyman tells Punk he's going to escort him to the skybox because he's got a Paul bomb for The Rock tonight. Not a pipe bomb, a Paul bomb.
Dedicated to Punk.
Dedicated to CM Punk. Because Heyman is the voice of the voiceless. And he had a bunch to say. He said it's generally hard for anyone to keep up with the most articulate, intelligent champion of all time. And Rock will be facing the longest reigning champ of the past 25 years. And just like the people, The Rock is stupid.
That was awesome.
He said January flavor of the month is The Rock.
That's right. Because Vince McMahon is a sick tyrant who changes his mind constantly, and this week his decision's on The Rock. And just as we get ready to start hour number 3, Rock is in the ring. Shut your mouth, Twinkie tits!
And The Rock, okay, here's my problem. This is where The Rock came out with his ticket.
Yes.
Because he got, okay, so I guess now when we get a ticket, it gives us access to the ramp, right?
You didn't come down the ramp at the house show?
No, I didn't. I didn't realize I was allowed to.
I wasn't even allowed to go to the floor. They were like, let me see.
Yeah, I mean, all right, that, and I mean, Heyman kind of like said something, and they, you know, he's like, shut up. The Rock told him to shut up or whatever. So Heyman did mention that a little bit, but his music hits. He's been banned. So the person running the show tonight has banned him from being there. So his music hits, he comes down the aisle. It would make sense. He has a ticket. He should be in the third, up in the nosebleed seats because he got a ticket from a cop.
But they can't have him come down from the crowd because that's
the Shield, because he got the Shields thing. But I mean, they could have done something. It was dumb that he came down.
If this was 10 years ago, he would have beat up all those cops and gone on right through there.
And this is just a thing that, you know, you have got a writing staff. Figure it out. Figure a way around it. Don't be lazy. Don't break your rules. Follow your rules, and creatively write around that. You know, this is just, it's just once again lazy writing to me and allowing that to happen. I was not a fan.
This is your go-home show.
Well, The Rock is promising the world that he's going to leave the Royal Rumble as the WWE champion. And then suddenly, the lights go out.
Well, he had some MLK references.
Oh, okay, you're right. You're right.
Slightly cringeworthy for me.
You're right. Free at last.
Free at last. And like when he said that, you could see Punk. He was thinking just like us. He was like, "Oh my god!"
And he said something about the "I have a dream" as well. Didn't he? He mentioned a dream.
Okay.
Because Punk used that later on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he threw the MLK references.
And then
the lights drop. And the Shield's in the ring, beating up The Rock.
Oh, I'm so glad to see that. I was like, finally, the Shield are back to their mission statement of what they were set out to do. I love it.
And you know one thing interesting about this? Roman powerbombed his cousin.
Yeah.
And he also let out like a war cry before he set him
up.
The
Rock and Roman Reigns are cousins, I believe, right?
Yeah, they're cousins.
So, which I would love to see them mention that as well.
All Samoans are cousins, as I heard.
No, but I mean, Roman Reigns is the son of either Alpha or Sika, right?
I'm not sure which one's which.
One of the Samoans. I mean, he's got a direct relation to The Rock. So I would like to see that brought up.
The Rock goes down after that powerbomb and all that, and we see a bloody mouth on The Rock.
Yeah.
Very slobbery bloody mouth.
Slobbering bloody mouth on The Rock. CM Punk grabs the stick, and essentially the gist of it was the great one just wasn't great enough to beat the best. No, he can't beat the best in the world.
There's only room for one man on the top of the mountain.
Free at last. Freedom comes with a price.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I like said he's going to have to wake up from his dream.
Punk had to take a back seat last week to let The Rock win one-on-one with this guy. I mean, it's awesome.
What'd you feel about the exchange, Cathy Kelley? How you feeling about this? Rock's down from the Shield, but we're setting this up. So we got CM Punk versus The Rock this Sunday. Who's getting the win, Cathy?
I think it's going to be The Rock.
I think so, too.
What
I think so as well.
428 days?
428 is what we're at today.
I'm going Punk.
So we're looking at 435 if he retains and comes through next Monday.
I want Punk. If it was me writing, it would be Punk. I think it's going to be The Rock, though. I think I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. If Punk has to end it, it's fine. I would like to see it continue. I think there's still gas in the tank with Punk with the belt.
I'm hoping they're still working with Brock Lesnar. I think they kept keeping it real on the down low.
I would love to see Lesnar come in and get involved.
Heyman retweeted a guy's photo. It was from that Mark Wahlberg,
it would make sense.
Will Ferrell movie where they're the cops, the buddy cop movie. And
right.
And they put they put Brock Lesnar and CM Punk's face over top of their heads and said the Heyman guys instead of the good guys or whatever. The
good guys, that's what it's called.
Brock and Rock feuded in the past, right?
Once, yeah, they had a match.
Yeah.
And Rock handed the torch over to Brock.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
But now he's like the former UFC heavyweight champion.
I
mean,
would
blockbuster champion.
And the fact with Heyman being involved with Punk, it would make sense if Brock showed. I don't think he will, but it would make sense if he showed up and got involved. And I would love to see them swerve The Rock away from Punk, away from Cena, and push those two.
Hindsight's 20/20 and all, but this segment should have closed the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you would expect that. I got excited when I went, oh, wow, we still have like almost an hour left.
It was very weird because it seemed, it definitely just Rock sitting there spitting out the blood from his mouth seemed like the end of the show as we faded to commercial.
I mean, could The Rock possibly have had to get out of town and go somewhere? I mean, maybe he had somewhere to catch his possibility.
He had to pull a Hogan. I got to get out of here.
But when we came back from commercial, we honored a man that changed a nation.
Yes.
Long live the dream. This was a great little package on Martin Luther King. It actually got me a little choked up. It started making me think of a kind of little nice segment I wanted to tell to all these people listening to us, that to make this world a better place, we just got to take the responsibility to be friendlier, nicer, and happier.
Mm-hmm. And hug more.
Hug it out.
Hugging would help. All you got to do is really, honestly, every day.
Cathy doesn't give hugs, though.
Every day, say hello to a stranger, and you'll watch the world get better.
Absolutely.
Simple and easy. Sheamus versus Wade Barrett.
Yes. Oh, man, I want to see this at Mania. I would love to see this.
This is a beat-the-clock matchup. Big boot by Wade Barrett. Kicked him in the face, but Sheamus was able to.
Was that the back? Was that like the back kick? Yeah, that was awesome. That was a great false finish right there.
Sheamus
I thought he could possibly win right there. Yeah.
Yeah, we were saying that both these guys actually look tired, more tired than we've ever seen them in the ring. They're normally strong workhorses that go and go and go, and they just seem to have a little step behind today.
Yeah. Wade Barrett looked a little puffy.
Good.
No, it was good. Yeah, you were mentioning that you thought he came out looking soft.
He looked a little puffy, a little soft. He looked like...
Josh prefers when they come out hard.
No, I'm just saying. Like I noticed, like when I've had like like Asian food or something one night, and then like when I get home, I take my shirt off. I'm like, damn, dude, that's a lot of sodium. Like he just like holding a lot of water, holding a lot of water. But yeah, wrestlers should be tight. Should be tight when they're on TV.
Wrestlers should be tight and hard in Josh's world. Sheamus hits the white noise, but takes his time to make the cover.
Well, we also had Ziggler came out.
Ziggler did come out. There was a distraction that ends up happening where AJ kind of slides in the ring and slides right out.
Right at around 40 seconds or so.
Just to slow down. Because essentially, remember, Ziggler wants to win this, so they're just trying to make sure that he maintains.
Was it as he was getting ready for the brogue kick, I think, right?
Setting it up.
He was setting up for the brogue kick, and she came in and just walked through and jumped out,
Yeah, and that gave Barrett a chance to black hole slam Sheamus.
Right, but
another
another
kick out.
false. And then Sheamus ended up, it looks like Barrett's setting up for the forearm because of the distraction again.
Yep.
And there's a brogue kick
And
at
then
the
he
buzzer.
gets the brogue kick. Seems like the timing was messed. I thought that it looked like they were going to try to play it like right on the 3-2-1.
Gotcher.
And there was a little stumble actually. Sheamus kind of tripped a little.
I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if there was that or if it was designed this way to avoid a problem.
No, but and it was booked for Ziggler to still maintain.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it seemed like I think they were trying to make it tighter.
I forget when they did it the last time, but the last time somebody won that wasn't supposed to.
Because did he actually even get the pin?
No, he was about to.
They ended they just
because the segment was over because Ziggler is the winner.
Yeah.
They just ended it. I think he was supposed to get the pin right after the buzzer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was weird. He didn't get a fall.
There was
like,
no.
well, there's no point for me pinning.
Yeah.
Right. Doesn't go in a win.
Awkward ending right there.
But here, once again, let's go logic. Where I have a problem here, they didn't end the match. Who gets the prize? Who gets the pay money? Who gets the winner's purse? You know, because technically the winner makes more money. That is the reason you are wrestling, is for money. So, yeah, it's.
Now there's a lot of gaps in logic
Writers
on
not
today's show.
thinking about
and we go to the next gap in logic right here. So Dolph gets to select his spot in the Rumble. So we go to Vicky in the back. Dolph is incredibly excited, starts making out with AJ because he's psyched that he's got the number 30 spot. But he said, hey, maybe instead of 30, I'll pick 27 because in the past 4 winners who've had 27 have won. And then Vicky essentially says, no, you don't get to choose that number. You could choose either 1 or 2. And we're like, what?
And if you want to go with the way they've been doing things next, or we should hear at the Rumble that the board of directors has gotten together and overrode Vicky's decision and that Dolph should be able to pick it.
Makes
that's
no
stupid.
sense that the whole premise of this Raw was to go win a challenge to go get your number 30 spot, and then after the whole thing happens, they just decide to say, no, we were just kidding. That doesn't matter.
And she did it because it was sour grapes and it's a personal vendetta. And so because of what went on with AJ and the board of directors now need to nullify that decision and let Dolph pick.
Yeah, and
if you're going to go with what you've been going.
To have your number 2 heel in the company start off the Rumble at the 1 or 2 spot, it's like
it's okay. And I know you kind of want it because you feel like if he's 1 or 2, you feel like you know that he's going to stay till the end at that point. You don't know if he's going to win, but you know he's going to be
see more Zig.
It would definitely make it more interesting.
Yeah, right. And he would be great the whole.
You would think that he would be taken out by everyone, and then he
would still survive. It would be a sure face turn.
They really need to get their logic down a little bit better.
Logic is hurting, especially in today's episode.
Really hurting.
A little lost here. A little lost.
Yeah, and once you've lost your logic, it's you lose it.
So we talked about Foley in the Hall of Fame, but now we get our second inductee.
Who I can't believe is not there yet, honestly.
And it's none other than the man that held a 6-year WWF title run.
Second longest reign?
Second longest behind Bruno.
And then probably Bruno's second is the third, right? Because Bruno had Bruno had 2 runs. I think he had like a 5-year run as well.
And then that man is Bob Backlund, master of the cross-faced chicken wing.
Great amateur. He used to be at I grew up in Connecticut. He used to be at the state tournaments all the time. He used to be at all the amateur wrestling events. He's a great supporter of amateur wrestling.
He's a friend of one of our executive producers.
Yes, he's very good friends of Maria and Kevin.
Yeah. So that's going to be cool to see. Backlund in the Hall of Fame. Great wrestler, great champion.
God, he was so scary when he came after Bret Hart.
Yeah, they showed the recap of when Backlund finally snapped.
And I'm just thinking, awesome. who he actually now that I'm thinking of it makes me think of a little bit is Daniel Bryan, where you had this guy earlier in his career, just the great wrestler with no character,
and then he became
later
the charismatic character,
all character.
Yeah. That's actually a great analogy right there. Final segment of the show, Super Cena hits the ring for a long promo. Essentially saying, Sundays are a day for you to do what you want.
This is a very weird promo. That made no sense. There was
no sense.
There was no reason for him to be out there.
What?
No, we had Heyman, Punk, and Vince in the back.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
After we recap the Rock Shield thing for like the 3rd time in 1 hour.
Oh, I flipped my card wrong way.
Yeah.
That's right. Vince said,
I'm sorry.
If the Shield interfere, there will be consequences, right? Or repercussions.
They actually played on the cleverness first. Where Vince is like, you think you're clever.
Yep.
And CM Punk's like, yeah, I'm clever. Yeah, if the Shield gets involved in the Rumble match, there will be consequences. And then Vince revealed that those consequences would be that he would be stripped.
Which is another thing. There's no proof that the Shield's involved with Punk.
Yeah.
So
I mean, at the same time, sometimes you got a boss who's just a dick, man,
true.
and you got to deal with it.
That is true. That is true. I mean, he is the boss, so he doesn't have to have logic. You can.
So maybe that'll keep the Shield, and maybe one Brock Lesnar would. Then there's no rules against that.
Or here's my thought: Brad Maddox.
Yep.
Because Brad Maddox went with Heyman later on, and Brad Maddox can get involved. He didn't say anything about Brad Maddox, so that is my prediction: is Maddox is going to get involved in that match somehow.
Heyman clearly endorsed him tonight too, so then that works against him.
But then Vince is going to be like, well, yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Because Vince didn't say that. The Shield can't get involved.
He said just Shield.
Maddox gets involved. And we don't know, Vince. I mean, he's once again on his own. So
I don't see Brad Maddox being able to cause a lot of trouble against The Rock, though. It's going to be kind of tough to sell that.
I mean, he can, run in and be run right out. I mean, you can do a lot of different things.
Do something quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got one more matchup on the evening that I almost skipped over, and that would be Ricardo Rodriguez coming out for a face intro with a new bow tie. He's rocking the Mexican bow tie.
Mexican bow tie.
The red, green, and white. And I was texted by Couchboy, former Couchboy, saying that the intro was 12.7 seconds long today. Alberto Del Rio versus Tensai.
Massive German suplex from Del Rio.
Well, first Del Rio hits the Rana, and then he followed it up with the German, and then he followed it up with the Shining Wizard in the corner, and then finally he went up to the second rope and hit a moonsault. Totally new offense for Alberto Del Rio as a face.
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
it's exciting.
Before he was in the WWE, he was a great luchador in Mexico, so did a lot of that high-flying stuff.
Yeah, now his moves become more exciting. The fans get into him. He got on the mic, said he was going to...
Is he... So I guess he's probably not going to be using that cross-arm breaker as much anymore, huh?
I don't think so. I think that's going to be an aggressive heel submission at that point.
That was one of my favorite things, was always watching him set up for that, work that arm the whole match. There's as I've talked before, there was a match where he worked Kane's leg to get him down to work the arm, and so we're not going to see that anymore. But
gets on the mic post-match and essentially says, in this last man standing match, Big Show, it will not be you counting to 10. It will be me, but I will be counting in Spanish.
Uno.
Dos.
Yay.
Cuatro.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.
Siete.
Cinco, seis, siete, ocho, nueve, diez.
Yeah. Un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, six, sept, huit.
9.
And then okay, and then the C.
Yeah, Ricardo tried to pull that one out.
Is that gimmick infringement?
I think honestly
that's gimmick infringement. Isn't
I
it?
think that's BS, and I don't like the CCCs. I think that's stealing Daniel's stuff.
I think it is too.
I wasn't a fan of that, but other than that, good segment. I'm really liking Face Del Rio.
Yeah.
He's become exciting to watch.
It was a good move.
He likes it.
They needed another face.
He's having fun. He's a great representative of the company. He speaks well. He looks good. He's
amazing in the ring. I think he's smart. He just understands wrestling.
I'm a Del Rio fan.
I am too.
All right,
Del Rio
back
fan.
to John Cena. Sundays being a day to do what you want. Talking weird nonsense to people.
Just having him out there. I mean, there was really almost no reason for him to be out there for that long. There was nobody he's really feuding with.
You know what? I'm going to go back real quick. Sorry. Ricardo was carrying a bucket to the ring. That didn't really
That's
come.
their thing.
Did Ricardo? Is he still?
It didn't come to play today, though. It just dawned on me that he came. It wasn't the same bucket like the big one with the confetti. He had like a silver spit bucket almost, but he never used it. But I just realized that he never used it.
Interesting.
Didn't have to. He squashed Tensai.
Cena went talking for like 5 minutes about nonsense. What was he talking about, man?
Hey, kid, what are you doing on a Sunday? You play video games?
It was all about what people do.
Skip mark 187 if you're playing or whatever he said.
Yeah, and said you're the guy that kept me from being still noob status on Call of Duty, and
Cena trying. I mean, here's the deal, man. We don't like it. We don't relate to it.
I don't like goofy. Yeah, I don't like Kitty's poopy Cena.
But when you go to the crowd, when you go to the show, and you look at the crowd, and you see all those kids in their Cena shirts,
how many did we see on Friday?
Wristbands, and their Cena You Can't See Me necklaces, and their headbands. I mean, that's who it's for.
Yeah, we're not the demographic, and he's kind of interesting because he will do promos for them. He will do promos for the adults, back and forth. I don't like the kids stuff, but there's a reason for it. They make a lot of money off that.
Tons of money.
It's probably
and he's really good at it.
It's probably one of their biggest revenue sources is his kids buying his T-shirts.
Yeah, we were at the show Friday. Like the whole row behind us were kids with Cena and Ryback shirts.
Found out the sign about Caitlyn with the mustaches was because she made a comment, I guess, saying that she loves mustaches.
Ah, okay.
Smiley, yes.
Yeah, if things were
Go lift with her.
So yeah, way too long for
all of it
for
going
Cena.
on,
Should have
on
been
and on.
2 minutes.
Yeah, Kitty Sema promo. Finally, he says that he gets intense and says that he's going to be winning the Rumble. And then Sheamus's music hits, and he says, "You got it all wrong, fella." And then Primetime Players music hits.
MLK, yes.
And in honor of Martin Luther King Day. and Titus gets on the mic and starts talking, and then Darren grabs the mic and says, "Ain't nobody got time for that," just as he gets interrupted. And then Randy Orton comes out and says, "You're looking at the next winner." And then The Miz comes out and says, Really? Short and sweet, I'm going to win the main event. I'm going to win this in main event WrestleMania again because I'm The Miz and I'm... And then Team Hell No comes out. And then Antonio Cesaro comes out.
Hell No did that? I'm going to win the Royal Rumble. I'm going to win the Royal Rumble. I'm going to win the Royal Rumble. Yeah.
And then Antonio Cesaro comes out and says he's going to dedicate his victory to his home away from home, the United States of America.
God bless him.
Finally, 3MB comes out. And essentially says one member of 3MB will record his name into history by winning the Royal. Yeah, Jinder said it, but saying that one of the three will win and record their name into history by winning the Royal Rumble.
And then Slater said something too, right?
And then Slater jumped in the ring and said something, "But baby!" Yeah. And then that started the big brawl.
And then everybody, the locker room came out.
And then
they went to. Did they go to commercial and then come back?
They didn't go to commercial and come back. They just they faded the black and that's how they ended it. But we all sat there because we didn't see the logo because of the closed captioning covering it up. You know, locker room clearing brawls and situations like this are supposed to be intense. And they're supposed to be exciting. They're supposed to be visually stimulating. Right. None of that.
And what was weird, as I was saying too, is they featured all these guys. Ryback was out there too, and there was no music or featuring him coming out of that. He was just kind of an afterthought out there. And I thought he should, even if he wasn't going to grab the mic, at least have his music. Let us know that he's coming out.
Kathy, you mentioned when we first sat down today, the chat room was calling it like one of the worst segments ever.
They said that our show is going to be better, but it wasn't much to compare to.
Didn't someone say that it was as bad as Mrs. Figure 4 or something?
Yep. Yeah. And I feel like they could have done so much more with that. I feel like the music was too slow on a lot of those intros, and I don't know, like they put in people in the ring that weren't going to be in the Rumble.
I think all those people are going to be in the Rumble with 30 dudes in the.
I don't think all of that. I think.
You don't think JTG is going to be in there?
Yoshitatsu.
I think they're all going to be in there.
I think there were a lot of guys that won't be.
Weren't in the ring. Like Ziggler wasn't in the ring. There were a couple of people that weren't in the ring that we know are going to be in Royal Rumble.
I think they were just trying to fill the ring out because we're going to have a lot of special people. I guarantee there are people that were in there that will not be in the Rumble.
I think ending the show with those big brawls with all the people out is an incredible way to pique interest in the product and make people buy it.
But this wasn't a great one.
Wasn't done right.
This didn't do it.
No.
I thought the Raw was. I thought the Raw was okay.
It was okay overall.
I thought Raw was solid today.
I don't think it was a solid go home episode. It was an okay Raw. It was a good Raw. But I would have liked to see a little bit of a...
I did look over at about 2.5 hours through to Josh and said, "Man, this really is a long show, isn't it?"
3 hours. It's too long.
It is.
I mean...
the first month when we were talking, I was the one who was saying, "Yeah, it's fine, it's fine."
When they announced my first thought was the 3-hour Nitros 10 years ago was too long. I used to, when they dropped Nitro from 3 to 2, it was like that was the smartest thing. 3 hours is too long. That's a pay-per-view. What's special now between Raw and a pay-per-view? It's the same length.
No commercials.
Right, exactly, but they're the same length. So
let's go home.
Or at least give us a 2-hour Raw and an hour of something else.
Well, I like what we talked about, the pre-show and the post-show.
They need to revamp
Just have like a countdown during that whole pre-show.
Magazine-style pre-show, magazine-style post-show, and throw the dead. Do what every other sport does, and you could still highlight the packages, highlight the important moments, and it just lets you freshen things up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Let's talk this Rumble, man. Sunday, let's talk this, because guess what? We're going to do an AfterBuzz after show after the Rumble. So we'll definitely be talking the Rumble with you people. So you people, that sounded terrible on Martin Luther King Day.
That did.
What do you mean, you people?
I mean the listeners, Josh. No, but we're going to try to keep the energy.
What do you mean, you people? What do you mean, you people?
We're going to keep these listeners entertained, so those that can't purchase the Royal Rumble will still get a excellent and entertaining recap of what went down. Predictions, anyone? Are we all just assuming Cena's going to win this thing?
Cena's going to win.
I really hope not. I hope it's kind of like a Ziggler or someone out of the blue that we're not going to expect.
That would be cool.
I'm a fan of swerve booking like that. So I think it would be pretty awesome if Cena were to make his run down into the ring and get eliminated so fast.
I think that would be great, too.
Like, it's one of those things that people would start the same way that everyone complained and bitched and moaned when Daniel Bryan lost in 18 seconds to Sheamus. It's one of those moments that would make it would take him to another level again, that people would like seeing something like that, because it's such a shock that your main Super Cena gets. I think the best bet is to throw him out so
throw
fast.
him out, maybe the final two guys that neither of them we would expect to win. So it's like, which one of these guys?
But I don't want it where he's in the match and he's just down to the final 5 and then he gets thrown out. That's meaningless.
You know
I want him to come in on fire and just get tossed right out. Easy payday for him.
Yeah, I would almost like them to see, and they've never done anything like this, have somebody who you would never put in a main event of WrestleMania win, and then you can always write them out of it.
I like that type of stuff too.
Have Heath Slater win, have Jinder Mahal win, have one of these guys that in a million years.
No one has ever won the Rumble by a fluke, have they?
No, I don't think so, and not since
fluke win would be good.
Since they've because the Rumble didn't used to be you headline WrestleMania. That's maybe last 10 years or so, but which I like. But ever since they've done that, it's always been the next big guy who's gonna go and main event.
It's weird that the Elimination Chamber is the pay-per-view before Mania. Too big. Too big for pre-Mania.
But does Elimination Chamber have something? A lot of times the winner of one of those goes on to win the other title that didn't win the Rumble. So there is a lot of there is an importance to it at times.
You know how much I would just cry as a child if I saw Hogan run down to the Rumble and get eliminated that fast.
Hogan will not be there because he's under contract to TNA.
His comment was that in that situation, my Cena scenario doesn't work because too many kids are upset and disappointed.
But
we saw so many kids at the Friday night show in Cena shirts. I mean,
that is what's effective.
It is effective.
Because then he goes, he doesn't have to lose airtime. He can still cut another promo later. He can potentially be involved in something else.
And WWE can't afford.
And the fact is, he's bulletproof.
You can't
He's
have
Teflon.
Cena, you can't have Cena lose his smile and leave for a few months. You can't have it. The WWE needs him there constantly. I think you need to set up something for him at the Rumble right now to have an opponent at the Rumble that doesn't necessarily involve the championship, because he doesn't need the championship, and there's a lot of guys that he could feud with. I'd love to see a Warrior Hogan moment with Ryback and Cena. I would love Cena to accidentally hit Ryback in the back, and they just both turn around. I mean, it'd be awesome.
Cena Ryback at Mania?
Ooh, but that's two faces. But I thought, have the maniacal
Oh, you can do face-face.
I'm okay with face-face.
Face-face is fine as long as it's built properly.
That would be huge. And they don't have nothing to do right now.
I don't like heel, but face-face.
Face-face could work. Have Cena, maybe dump Ryback over when Ryback's, got 3 dudes or something. And, Cena doesn't. He just looks up at him
we can only hope that interesting scenarios happen.
I hope something we're not expecting. I hope something we're not expecting.
Maybe these go-home matches are terrible right now because they're just concentrating on the pay-per-view.
I need one of those too.
All right, as we're wrapping up, I definitely have to have a cookie now.
Yeah, I'm not so. I can. I'm not supposed to. There's a difference.
Oh, a nice hybrid of a crispy crunch, but still soft and chewy.
And you said no sugar. These are all carbs, right? Because I'm loading carbs today.
There's no calories in them, so
perfect.
They're perfect.
Well, I need calories. I'm carb loading today.
I was gonna say, what the hell are you talking about? There's no way to cook a cookie with no calories. Not possible.
Yeah, these
delicious.
These are very good. Thank you, Kathy. So this go-home match.
You can't order these on AfterBuzzTV.com's new store.
No,
you can. I think you can hear us crunching.
That's okay. We're closing up the show right now.
So yeah, that's my hope, is that this whole last 3 weeks have not gone crazily well.
Help you, Obi-Wan. It's your only hope.
Yeah. Maybe they're concentrating so much on the pay-per-view. Maybe there's a lot of unanswered things, are they still working on getting things going? But tonight, 2 meaningful matches, 2 squash jobs, 1 dusty finish, and a sloppy divas match.
And I got through this broadcast without sweating.
Yeah, you're starting to shine a little bit, but
I got no drippy sweat the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, and we had a lot of in-ring promos tonight. A lot, probably a good 30 minutes at least of the show was in-ring promos.
Clum, where are you wrestling this weekend?
This weekend I am wrestling. I will be doing Hood Slam for something Friday at the Pappy Pineda Dome. And then I will be, I have a dark match with Dragon Gate USA, which is a very
prestigious organization.
Yeah, very big opportunity for me. So,
very cool. I got a lot of friends who've been watching your matches, and I've been hearing great stuff about you.
Awesome. And then February 2nd, I have Millennium Pro Wrestling in Simi Valley. And then February 9th, I will be doing Vendetta Pro Wrestling, one of their student shows. Cool. And then the 10th, the next day, I will be doing Alpha Omega Wrestling in Palm Springs.
Wow. Showtime. Talk to us about rice balls.
We're going to be touching on that tomorrow.
I bet you'll be touching on rice balls.
We're doing white on rice.
As long as they're hard.
Well, we're talking about the Westerners, the foreigners up in Japan, taking the Japanese women from them, you know? Talk about those gaijins and stuff.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You don't know about that?
I know gaijin. That's what you call the white wrestlers who come in.
Yeah, exactly. Gaijin.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Spreecast, White on Rice. You can find me on Showtime Josh on Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah, Cluminator on Twitter, by the way.
There you go.
Cupcake.
I was going to ask everyone to follow me on Twitter because I was almost up to 600, but now I guess during the broadcast I passed it. So. You can follow me on Twitter and I'll be your best friend forever.
She is definitely the most popular of our crew on Twitter.
But she won't be your best friend forever. That's just a lie.
No, that's an absolute lie.
Typical woman's lie.
Just because I don't want to hug you. Is that what this is about?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we need to hug it out.
Yes.
I think her and Raven Travis Berry were Tanya Harding, Jeff Galooly and me on the ice skating rink.
They might have been.
I think what I actually saw was someone, I swear, I saw something from behind the corner of my eye. Someone threw something on the ice that hit my foot and knocked it out. I think this was a move.
I think Cathy Kelley wants your seat.
I think she does. IamSmiley.com is where you can find me. Twitter.com/IamSmiley. Facebook.com/IamSmiley. And you can pick up a mustache mood ring to satisfy your moods. Also, you'll check me out along with Mr. Clum here February 2nd, Millennium Pro Wrestling. Despite my injury, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to suck it up. I'm going to sack up. And I'm going to take on the hobo in this no disqualification,
that's crazy.
No count out, no BS matchup. And I'm going to prove my dominance and show that even with a bum wheel, I am the best free agent in Southern California today.
I personally think you should talk to MPW management, and they should not force you to defend your title. I think that's ridiculous that they're making you do that.
I cut a promo at the last show saying that I will be a fighting champion, that I am not the joke GQ money that people thought I was, that I am an honorable and respectable champion who's got the skills to back up the talk that I talk. And I'm going to back it up this week.
Well, I think if the hobo was honorable, he would want a 100% GQ money.
Hobo's a scumbag. Brawlin' Bo Cooper's a scumbag. I'm going to defeat them all, and that's why I'm the dominant force.
Bo Cooper doesn't like when you talk about him on AfterBuzz.
Man, this has been AfterBuzz TV, brought to you by Bing. We're buzzing after Raw. We'll see you this Sunday after the Rumble.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
Bye-bye, birdie.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.